Carved along the cliffs of southern Italy, it's a place of outstanding natural beauty where people have thrived in the challenging terrain for generations. Join Asian Air Safari as we drive, sail, and fly over this stunning Mediterranean landscape to find its cultural and gastronomic treasures, taking in the breathtaking beauty of the Amalfi Coast. Out of all the places I have been to in the world, Italy is an easy favorite. Kind climate, delicious food, and the warmth of the people have kept me coming back. After spending some time in Tuscany, I decided to drive further south, test driving the new Audi Q8 in the Italian countryside. I was feeling up for a challenge and decided to drive from the undulating hills of the north to the beautiful southern coast of Italy. From Tuscany, I planned to reach Salerno at the tail end of the Amalfi Coast, working my way back to explore the coastal towns. It was more than 500 kilometers of open road shared with Italian drivers, fueled by espresso. But I am sure the views will be worth it once I reach my destination. Besides, this car has some nice tricks up its sleeve. It's amazing how they make the cars almost like airplanes nowadays. It's nice that you put a specific speed, it goes without me doing anything, and it even does a full stop if necessary. And if they move, it continues on moving as well. It's great. This makes life a lot easier. The adaptive cruise control was really handy for the long drive, with a special radar sensor helping to maintain a constant distance to the vehicle ahead. Very stable. You can adjust the height and the sternness of your suspension just by flicking over some switches. The long journey has allowed me to get to know the Q8 very well, but I am looking forward to testing it in the twisty roads of the Amalfi Coast. For now, the highway takes me to the Costa di Amalfi Airport, where I was to meet a gentleman who will take me up flying over the scenic coast. I made my way to his hangar inside the airport and was welcomed by his hangar dog, Sky. My friend Dele insisted that I should take a flight here at the Amalfi Coast. He said it's the best way to see the area. He introduced me to Francesco, who operates a flying school, an aerobatic school, and a banner tow business. Francesco and I both began with a banner towing business, making a living out of a hobby. Today, we are flying on a small MX-7, a tail dragger and a single-engine stall aircraft known for its agility and high payload. The last time I flew a MAL was one on floats in one of the lakes in Michigan, so I'm quite excited for today's flight.
7 is Mike 7 ready for taxi local flying.
Taxiing and takeoff on this aircraft, just like on any tail dragger, is tricky because you have to be quick in shuffling the rudder to keep it on track. As soon as our tail was up, it didn't take long for us to be airborne. We flew over the ruins of Paestum, an ancient Greek city with some of the most well-preserved Greek temples in the world, dating back to 600 BC. The area used to be occupied by Greeks who have settled in southern Italy. bringing with them the Hellenic culture. Today, you will see a lot of dairy and vegetable farms around Salerno.
We stay just a little bit close to the shoreline.
We then reach the azure Tyrrhenian Sea, part of the Mediterranean where the Amalfi coast lies.
What is this now?
This is Cetara.
Chikara.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is Erkia, and now we see Amalfi.
There are a total of 13 towns along the coast, each one having its own traditions and specialties. From sandy beaches to lemon groves to hand-painted ceramics.
Nice houses. I don't want them complaining to you because of my flying.
Yeah.
Too near their house, they would say.
One thing is certain, the people have adapted well to the mountainous terrain, carving roads, farms, and towns on the steep sides of the cliffs. I could see why Francesco enjoyed flying them all, especially with this kind of views.
This is a good plane because I bought this one because different from the Super Cup, we have much endurance.
Yeah.
It's possible to bring up to 5 person including the pilot because I have also the 50 seats in the back.
This is nice.
This is Amalfi. Then when we come back from the railway, we pass just over the Amalfi Duomo.
Okay.
That is very nice. Okay.
The town of Amalfi, where the coast is named after, used to be a powerful marine republic. Their merchants had a monopoly on commerce in the Tyrrhenian, trading Italian goods in the east. There are several towns built on the mountaintops, which offer the best possible views of the coast.
This is the Ravello Church.
If that's Ravello.
Yeah.
Ah, very nice.
Yeah.
That villa is nice.
Yeah. This is an hotel now.
The eastern influence can be seen in the Maiolica tiled churches along the coast, done in the Arab Norman style. Nearby Sicily used to be an Islamic settlement, and Arab artisans had a lot of influence in the area's architecture. There is a lot of history to be learned just by flying over the storied beaches and hillside settlements of the Amalfi coast. Up next, I drive Italy's most scenic stretch of coastline and explore its towns up close for some of the best cuisine and colorful finds. After seeing the Costa Amalfitana from above, I decided to drive from the bustling seaport of Salerno and into the small towns hugging the cliffs of the Latari mountain range.
We've driven this car now for about 800 kilometers or more. It grows into you. You feel like the car is a part of you when you're driving. It's nice when it grips the road.
The new Audi Q8 is the brand's flagship SUV. If you compare it to the Audi Q7, it is actually smaller but wider and features a sporty coupe style.
I enjoy looking at it when it's parked. It has the conservative lines of the typical Audi, but at the same time, it has a bit of an aggressive look, which makes me feel like I'm younger and makes me feel more confident when I'm driving.
Inside, it's the same refined, well-built Audi center console. It's also got a nice panoramic sunroof letting in the sun and the air.
Q8 is an SUV, but it feels like it's a grand tourer. It's very comfortable in the highway. It has the power if you need to accelerate.
The roads got narrower and narrower as we get to our first stop, the quaint little town of Vietri sul Mare. Coming from Naples, you'll probably miss Vietri as it's on the tail end of the Amalfi Coast. But from Salerno, this colorful town is the gateway to this piece of Italian paradise. Compared to its bigger neighbors like Positano or Amalfi, Vietri does not rely too much on tourism. Over the centuries, it has been self-sufficient as a fishing town and for another humble trade.
The town of Vietri sul Mare is known for its ceramic tradition, which dates back to Roman times.
Handmade, fire-glazed, and brightly painted, these ceramic treasures found favor in the court of Naples in the 16th and 17th century. In fact, this small town made most of the Maiolica tiles you will see in the churches and homes all over the Amalfi Coast. You will see the unmistakable Vietri sul Mare signature in their ceramics. Bold strokes and Mediterranean colors depicting sunny scenes. The pleasant seaside atmosphere is very inviting for a nice alfresco lunch.
Here in Vietri sul Mare, specialty is seafood. I'm going to have spaghetti vongole and a mixture of fried seafood, calamare, shrimp, and some fish. Excellent fish. Shoreline is just behind this building. Nothing beats fresh seafood.
Lemons, known here as liquid gold, can be found in the whole stretch of this coast.
They have a special olive oil that has lemon. And it's great for freshly baked bread.
It's the perfect meal to jumpstart my exploration of the coast. After a filling lunch, I was back on the road. From Vietri sul Mare, I plan to drive up to Amalfi, passing more little towns along the way. There is only one road up and down the coast, the Strada Statale 163. Carved on the side of the coastal cliffs, it's like a long balcony with views of dreamy villages and the blue sea. It's a beautiful stretch of road, but it can also be very dangerous. With steep rocks on one side and a dramatic drop into the Mediterranean below, the road clings onto the cliffs, following the twisting shoreline. And as you can imagine, it can get very busy. Cars, scooters, and big tour buses fight for space in the narrow, zigzagging road and hairpin turns. An SUV may not be the typical choice for driving in these winding roads, but the Q8 is not your typical SUV either.
And when you need to accelerate, the V6 with electric assist really gets you going.
The Q8 has a 48-volt mild hybrid system, allowing it to cruise while on battery power for increased fuel economy. A lot of safety features were also put in place, like emergency braking, forward collision warnings, and blind spot indications. Very useful for these sharp curves.
Well, this Q8 is a real fun car to drive here in the zigzag roads of Amalfi. This is when you really appreciate the car on these twists and turns.
As we covered more distance, the views became more and more stunning. What could have been a white-knuckle drive turned out to be quite a pleasant one. Finally, we made it to our next stop, beautiful Amalfi. Up next, I take in the sea breeze as we sail across the waters of the Tyrrhenian Sea, marvel at magnificent natural formations, and explore the coast's most picturesque port towns. I am now in the town of Amalfi, at the heart of this magnificent Italian coastline. Amalfi was once the capital of a powerful maritime republic. It was an important trading power in the Mediterranean during the Middle Ages, rivaling Pisa, Genoa, and even predating Venice. The Tavole Amalfitane, the first laws of the sea, were written here and was followed by the whole of the Mediterranean for centuries. I walked around the busy Piazza del Duomo in front of a very striking medieval cathedral done in the Arab Norman style. Its bronze doors were brought all the way here from Constantinople, and its bell tower is decorated with brightly colored tiles. The cathedral is dedicated to Saint Andrew, whose relics are found inside. He is said to protect the town from calamities over the centuries. Due to its trading connection to the east, the Amalfitans learned the tradition of paper making from the Arabs. Amalfi had the first paper mills in Europe, which became an important local trade. As beautiful as this town is, there is more to see along the coast.
Here in Amalfi, it's easy to rent a boat and explore the other islands or the other towns along the coastline. That's what I'm gonna do today.
Driving along the cliffs is nice, but I think getting around by boat would be faster.
Good morning, buongiorno. And they delivered the boat right at the dock.
Together with our skipper, Vincenzo, we plan to go from Amalfi, passing by some small towns, to the Isle of Capri before heading back to Positano. As we sailed along the coast, we saw magnificent headlands, fjords, and coves up close, with occasional pebbled beaches.
Well, I think it was a good decision to bring Vincenzo along. He knows the area, he knows exactly where to go and where to park, so we'll take it easy and leave everything to him.
This city is a Braiano.
Braiano.
Braiano is a nice position because from here it's possible to see the sunrise and the other side the sunset.
Okay. But if you look at the tower, I would say during the olden times, it was a good area to watch for the enemies or when the enemies are coming.
Watchtowers can be seen scattered along the coast, a defensive system that recounts 800 years of struggle by the locals against the Saracen or Muslim invaders.
Used to be an old fisherman's house.
Yeah.
And that at the back is Ligale Island, owned by one family from Sorrento, right? I wouldn't mind owning an island here too.
According to local legends and Greek mythology, sirens inhabit the islands and seduce sailors with their songs, causing a lot of shipwrecks in the area. I better cover my ears. We finally made it past the sirens and sighted Capri.
And this is Capri Island, made famous by the American movies, and also a resort town, even during the Roman times.
But before we got close to the island, we had to pass through its century. 3 towering rock formations jutting out from the water.
Here's another famous landmark of Capri. They call it the Parioni. It's like a lighthouse.
In ancient times, fires were lit on these rocks to signal ships. Averaging 100 meters in height, the rocks are a beautiful sight to behold. As we get past the archway, we arrive at the shores of Capri.
With all the super yachts around, they still call this the Marina Piccola, which is small. On the other side of the island is the Marina Grande. And this is the main town of Capri. Charming, beautiful town that Hollywood is crazy about.
Capri's enchanting beauty has captured the rich and famous throughout history. Vincenzo showed me some of the interesting natural phenomena in the area, like orange corals and emerald-colored waters.
This one is called the Green Cave, not because the cave is colored green, but because of the green water. Another interesting side of Capri Island.
Capri's fame draws a lot of tourists, and it can get very busy. I decided to escape the crowds and go for lunch. Vincenzo takes me to the small town of Nerano.
Nerano is a small fishing village very near Capri. It is well known in the Mediterranean for its fresh seafood. Famous chefs come over to get the fresh catch.
The menu highlighted the area's fresh seafood, as well as the local products harvested in the family farms up the hills.
So their cheese is very good. Salad is excellent. Calamari with fresh lemon. And they say a little bit of this tomato sauce. This is really good.
Every once in a while, you see the catch hauled from the sea. Washed down with a glass of good wine, there can't be a more perfect meal.
Very refreshing. Great for the seafood. I cannot ask for more.
Dining just above the crystal waters of the Mediterranean was definitely a treat. Then, it was back on the boat for our last stop. From the sea, I behold the stunning panorama of Positano.
This is the beautiful seaside town of Positano. It is a very important stop for the Greek during the ancient time that they named it after their sea god Poseidon.
Positano's shores are a dizzying array of colors. From the white, pink and yellow houses to the green of the Latari Mountains and the striking blue of the sea. Sun worshippers filled the Pebble Beach. The town is crammed with shops selling all kinds of products and local crafts like ceramics and leather goods. As a defensive advantage, Positano's streets are steep and narrow. The Mayolita tiled dome of the Santa Maria Assunta can be seen from all corners of the town. In the interior, farms yield all kinds of crops and fruits. Lemon is grown all over the coast and turned into a variety of products.
On a hot day like this, the best way to cool off is having a limoncello. It's usually taken after the meal. It's tangy, refreshing, but also very strong. Maybe I stick to lemon slush.
I can see why traders, Roman emperors, artists, and now hordes of tourists are drawn to the shores of the Amalfi coast. Its architectural wonders, historic monuments, and indescribable natural beauty, coupled with the folklore and tradition that is kept alive by the locals, gives this place enchantment like no other. Living in a place like this, the locals would often say, the day they go to heaven is just like any other day.
This has been your captain, Joy Roa. See you in the next Asian Air Safari.